Posted by Sprints with Scissors. My sister F32 cheated on my brother-in-law. Advice needed. Sister cheated on my brother-in-law again. Everyone has seen her integral thirst trap photos / she lies even when presented with damning evidence / she cheats my parents out of money through guilt tripping them about growing up etc. Note, some details omitted, but everything is truthful. Background: growing up my sister was the easy child, great grades, financial literacy, and a small social circle she kept a regular cadence with. I on the other hand was the wear-down kid, undiagnosed ADHD, and all that comes with it. Oh how time changes. Just a quick bit, I'm the younger one by 5 years, so we were always separated by one of the academic transitions, elementary, middle, high, college, so I never knew much of how she was as a person other than she was reserved and docile. Over the years we were close and I was genuinely sorry she seemed to be around such shallow people who caused drama for her. In high school / college she dated a guy who was absolutely awful. But they broke up and things with her started to change. She went through a bunch of guys quickly and the family figured she was just getting her youth out of her system. She meets my brother-in-law and then she met the guy who would become my brother-in-law. She thought he was the greatest thing. She fawned over him. Insisted that how he wasn't super academic. Our family is one where we all have advanced degrees / jobs, is exactly why she loves him so much. He wasn't going to be impractical. He didn't think of himself as superior etc. These aspects of our family aren't really a noticeable feature. My parents were homeless for a significant portion of their lives. I never had great academic skill, and the advanced degrees were never touted / hung up on the walls or anything. These pressures she felt seemed like some sort of glass she felt the need to break that none of us previous knew existed. She herself was going for her master's, and then she got pregnant. The first and second pregnancies she didn't have a job. He didn't have one that could really afford a child, let alone the fact he had to pay child support to a previous marriage. They weren't married, but that doesn't really matter in some context. My parents knew if the numbers etc. worked they'd be fine, but even those didn't. Fast forward 2 years and she's married and pregnant again. The problem's 6 years later now, and 2 years after a first incident of infidelity which he did everything to move on from. All the pictures come out. The Instagram, the Twitter, her entire slew of going to job interviews to get a job to help raise the kids. All of it was a fraud. I told her when confronting the first instance that my advice is very simple and it breaks down to this: do you still want to be married to John? Yes, I believed this to be a lie at the time. Look, there's no expectation of you having to say the right answer, but regardless, if you don't want to be married to John, that's fine. People wake up one day and realize they don't and probably never will again love the person that they're married to. It's sad, but it happens. All you need to do is tell him, don't cheat. Nobody deserves that to happen to them. I left it at that. So here we are now after it's all fallen to shit. I spoke to my BIL and realized it's been about 9 years since I really spoke with her meaningfully. About a year since I all but entirely stopped talking to her. I totally forgot I had stopped talking to her. In a real way, it's like I remember once having a sister but remembered I got tired of the constant lying. It was like listening to someone talk about the fantasy life while knowing they think you believe it's all real. She was about to get a job that pays $220,000 while working from home. She studied child life and worked from home / once did social work that paid $12 / was getting contracts built for the hospitals in our state / goes out to dinner with some intellectual like Dr. Cornel West / things were great with the kids. Her son doesn't know how to read and he's in 4th grade. All of her friends in high school / college that went on to get law degrees etc. are somehow all deeply flawed people, and that's why she didn't attend Tessa's wedding. There weren't kids allowed. This wasn't true. Tessa also attended my sister's wedding. She blamed my parents for spending more money on me and they worked her like a slave. My parents invested heavily in each of our passions. Hers was dance, mine was snowboarding. She shrugs and rolls her eyes when anyone reminds her she never had student loans because my dad paid for her entire undergraduate degree. I paid for half of mine. She had multiple cars paid for. I was bought one that I took immaculate care of. She missed payments on hers and had no answer for why she didn't tell anyone that the loan my parents co-signed for was not being paid at all. She saw the notices. She lied to my brother-in-law when he had the evidence in his hand. She lied to my parents about whether strangers were showing up at the house. I remember vividly not having a reason to keep her up to date on my life because anytime I inquired how life was going for her / the kids / etc., it was only lies I got back. I just hoped she was different with the kids / my bil. I chalked it up to an idiotic sense of sibling rivalry, and that seemed like the amicable option. Just leave her out of my life. Looking back, the worst part for everyone in the family has been looking back. She does never apologize once about her behavior and taken steps to correct it. Even when the last incident happened, she said it was because he wasn't intellectual enough for her. I told her this is exactly why she married him. She bragged to the family how all of our intellectualism couldn't stop her from marrying him. We all were kind of surprised. She made this claim: he is / was a talented electrician / carpenter / mason. Those are valuable skills, and it was fascinating to see him work / talk about why he loved what he did. My parents always told us growing up college wasn't something we had to do. They just wanted us to find something we were passionate about / found value / joy in and do that. My parents are far from perfect people, but they always put us first. Sometimes I do wish they had focused more on their marriage, but I do think if my mom hadn't caught my ADHD early and helped me get a diagnosis from a developmental wing of our local hospital, my life would have been much different. She knew more than I would like to admit that I need structure, and was straight up with my girlfriend about how I dive into projects and may need to be reminded to focus on our relationship. These are true and active things. Insightful gains I've learned from someone who wasn't always happy in her marriage but made it work to create the best situation for us. How / why / when all this is lost on my sister is beyond me, and I'm devastated for my brother-in-law. I wish he had divorced her sooner. I told him he should have. I told my sister to end it and take fault for cheating on him if she doesn't want to be in her marriage anymore. At point. Advice I'm looking for is what now? How do you deal with someone who is like this? I plan on doing the low / no contact thing and warning anyone in the future, but I don't how my parents are supposed to handle her since she lives at their house. They want to maintain contact with the kids, and anything that threatens that, i.e. she leaves and takes the kids, they won't do. There's almost no enforcement because she holds their grandkids over them. How does one handle this? How do you enforce anything with a person that is this way? Is there a way to get them to realize how horrible they are to others? How does one ensure the best for the kids, my niece / nephew? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the notification bell as well.